Welcome students. Today I will deliver a lecture regarding the isolation. Specifically, I will say about the pre-mating isolating mechanisms, which can also be called as external reproductive isolations. Under it, you find several types, and first one is called as seasonal isolation. Seasonal isolation, that is otherwise called as temporal isolation. First of all, I shall explain you detail about them. The difference in the breeding season keep the groups separate, and making interbreeding is impossible. It is a common among the plants. For example, you find the Californian species, Californian species, Californian species, Californian species. Okay. Under it, you can take the example of your cypress tree, which generic name is called as cypressus, which have 10 subspecies. Under the species of the cypress, you find 10 subspecies. Okay, and usually you find the cypress tree in the California country, not in only one variety, 5 varieties are there. 5 Californian species of the cypress trees. Cypresses divide into 10 subspecies, have quite limited distribution, and some of those are also be represented only a single group. Okay, they may grow side by side with a few hybrid trees and non-interbreeded. It is presumably due to the differences in their pollination times, which prevent the cross fertilization. Okay, and seasonal isolation is also found among the animals, and especially in cold-blooded vertebrates and among the invertebrates, in which the breeding season are quite restricted. Take the example of the cold-blooded animals from your amphibian organisms. One organism is called as the rana, R-A-N-A. Rana refers to the frog, and that is the generic name. But you can consider 3 different species in there. One species is called as your rana, calametians. Calametians. Rana calametians. Rana calametians. Okay, the calametians is one species, and some author also be explained likely Rana calamitians. Okay, both the same means. Your calamitians or Rana calamitians, and these are the difference in the spelling. And first term in the species you find the I is given after the T, but in the you see the second term in there I is not there, and after the T you find the A is also present. And these are the species which comes under the Rana. Rana is generic name, and Rana pipiens. Another species is called as Rana pipiens. Okay, Rana pipiens, and it is another species. And also you find another species in that locality, that is called as your Rana, Okay, and in there you find another species that is called as your Sylvatica. Okay, these are the species: Rana sylvatica, your Rana calamitians, Rana pipiens. Okay, those species are possessing the same generic name. Genus are same, species are different. They would be found in the northeastern United States of America and breed in the same pond. But Rana sylvatica generally breed before the other appears in the pond. Initially, you find this species, which one is called as Rana sylvatica. And this species generally breed before the other appears in the pond. And in the same pond, you also find the Rana calmitans. Okay, Rana calmitans, otherwise called as Rana calamitans. However, the Rana calmitans also be shown in there. Okay, that do not begin the breeding until the other breeds. Okay, and however, they will be present in the same pond. First of all, you find the Rana sylvatica, then you find Rana pipiens, then you find the Rana calamitians. Okay, and you mark there your Rana sylvatica generally breed before the other appears in the pond, but the Rana calamitians do not begin breed until other breeds. And the water temperature is the controlling factor for the breeding for each species. For example, your Rana sylvatica breeds at the water temperature about 44 degree Fahrenheit. 44 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, in that temperature you find that species. Rana pipiens begins to breed 55 degree Fahrenheit. 55 degree Fahrenheit. But your Rana calamitians, that would be arise laterally, and it would be remaining at the not in what low temperature, it would be remaining in the high temperature. Rana calamitians do not enter the pond until the water temperature exceeds the 60 degree Fahrenheit. You find the species in 60 degree Fahrenheit. At the low temperature, you find this species, which one is called as Rana sylvatica. Rana sylvatica would be remaining in the pond at the temperature of 44 degrees Fahrenheit. But your Rana pipiens, the second one, it would be remaining the temperature of the 55 degree Fahrenheit. And secondly, you find the Rana pipiens at the temperature of 55 degree Fahrenheit in that same pond. And thirdly, you can get the Rana calamitians, and it will be remain after the 55 degree Fahrenheit, near about 60 degree Fahrenheit, you find that species that will be remaining in that same pond. Okay? And for this example, Rana sylvatica breeds at the water temperature of about 44 degree Fahrenheit, but Rana pipiens begins to breed at 55 degree Fahrenheit, and Rana calamitians and does not enter the ponds until the water temperature exceeds 60 degree Fahrenheit. Likewise, you can take your angiostoma. Your ambistoma, you know that species one is called as a tigrinum. Your amphistoma, tigrinum, and ambistoma your maculatum, and these two bits, these are the remaining in the same area and at a different time of the year. They will not be seen in the same seasonal period. They will be appearing in the different seasonal times. Okay, and these are the also be differential in their behavior. Let's note down the species, which one is called as your they're called as the ambystoma. Okay, and this species considered as the one amphibian organisms, and your tegrinum is the generic name. Okay, that is called as the ambystoma tegrinum, and this one is very available term, and this species generally present very profuse amount, and other one is called as your ambystoma, but the species of it, the species is called as your maculatum, and this species, in comparison with the first variety, remaining relatively less amount. However, both species will be generally seen in that. Okay, ambystoma, maculatum, but they will be appearing in the different times of the same area. Okay, breed at different times of the year. Okay, and next, the second point after your seasonal isolation or temporal isolation. Second one is called as ethological or physiological isolation. Ecological and physiological isolation. Ethological or physiological isolation. Please listen some lines regarding the ethological and physiological isolation. Okay? The word ethological is derived from the Greek dictionary from the word ethos, called as ethos. Okay? The ethos means the habit. What is it? Habit. 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 Okay. And custom, that is called as custom also. So it refers to behavior patterns, courtship and mating between the members of the different related species is checked due to the differences in sexual behavior. The different behaviors of courtship are expressed in variety of ways. The plumage patterns and melodious songs of many male birds, the call of the what? The call of the female at the time of breeding. Okay? And the calls of the frogs and toads at the time of breeding season. And these are the what? You are also the nature to call the partners, and the singing of the cricket and locusts and flashings of your fireflies are familiar examples. The best examples of ethological isolation are the hyla versicolor. Hyla versicolor. Hyla, you know, this one type of frog called as a hyla. Called as hyla. The hyla is the generic name of that frog, and hyla versicolor. Hyla versicolor. Okay. The hyla versicolor, versicolor, versicolor. Okay. This species is called as grey tree frog. Grey tree frog. Called as grey tree frog. Hyla. Okay. Hyla, your versicolor is called as grey tree frog. Okay, and in there you find another species that is called as pine wood frog. The pine wood tree frog, it is very peculiar. It would be named as your hyla, Hyla, hyla. These are tree frogs. Okay, tree frog usually called as hyla. And femoralis, the specific name. Okay, and that is called as pine wood tree frog. Pine wood tree frog. And you mark, and this is the grey tree frog at the above. This one is the pine wood tree frog. And grey tree frog, otherwise called as Hyla versicolor. Okay, but Hyla femoralis is called as pine wood tree frog. Okay, and these are the ethological isolation. They are found in the same ponds near your Orleans. It is one area. In there you find these breeds of the same time. Both are very similar in their external features, but their male breeding calls are extremely different and are well recognized by their females, and they will be differentiated from others. So they know mixed in the matings occurs. There is no question of the interbreeding in them. Okay, and that is the example of the ethological or physiological isolation. Okay, then students, you know, the mating, the dances of the salamanders and turtles are also very striking. I already explained to them about the salamanders. And the mechanical isolation is the point third after your discussing the what? Your seasonal isolation and your ethological or physiological isolation, and third variety is known as mechanical isolation. Mechanical isolation. Mechanical isolation, let us reveal what are the happens after your mechanical isolation. Mechanical isolation. If you go through the mechanical isolation, you find very peculiarities in there, and it is due to differences in the structure of the genital organs according to the lock and key theory of the Leon Dufour. Leon Dufour in 1844, and he proposed that concept and named the Leon Dufour in the year of what? 1844. 1844. Leon Dufour. There should be exact correspondence between the structures of the male and female genitalia parts to allow the mating. So, the female genitalia is a lock. Female genitalia is a lock. Female genitalia is a lock. L-O-C-K. Okay. Female genitalia is a lock. And male one is the key. Okay. Male one is known as key. The male genitalia is called a key. Okay, and this theory concept is known as lock and key theory, which was proposed by the Leon Dufour. And again, I shall explain you the mechanical isolation, and it is due to the differences in the structure of the genitalia organs according to the lock and key theory of the Leon Dufour in 1844, and there should be exact correspondence between the structure of the male and female genitalia parts to allow mating. So, the female genitalia is a lock and male genitalia are a key, and which fits into the lock belonging to the same species, but also fails in the certain cases. For example, in two species of the lady beetles, and lady beetles generic name or tribe is known as your Hippodamia. Hippodamia. Called as Hippodamia. Hippo, Hippodamia. That is the lady beetle. Hippodamia. Okay, and the Hippodamia, it is the generic name of your lady beetles. Lady beetles, L-A-D-Y, lady beetles, B-E-T-L-E. These are the lady beetles. Okay, and they will be known as in the geological term of the Hippodamia. Okay. And you mark there, and you find the strikingly different male genitalia have been crossed. 3 pairs of genes account for the specific differences in the structure. Besides these above factors, the different size also be prevent hybridization. For example, the female oak toad. One toad is there, that is called as female oak toads. Female oak toad. Oak, you know, it is the largest plant in case of the USA and also in Britain. And this plant is called as oak, that is equivalent with our banyan tree. Okay, and in our country you find the banyan tree, but in the in the America as well as in England you find in there one type of large tree called as the oak tree, and you find in there some toads also be remain in that locality. at that place, and that is called as your oak toad. What is it? Oak toad. Okay, and if you will consider that species in there, and also you find in there another species that is called as your what? You are called as the small adult male of the Gulf Coast, and that type of toad is known as Gulf Coast toad. Gulf Coast toad. Gulf Coast toad. Okay, the three types of toads you will find in there. Specifically, these two are a very interesting one. One is called as female oak toad, other one is called as male Gulf toad. Okay, and one is the what? Male. This one is the male. M-A-L-E, male, and symbolically can keep lightly. In case of female, we can keep lightly. Okay, this is the male case. Male Gulf Coast toad is very little, but the female oak toad is comparatively or relatively also be larger. Okay, and you know their names. One species, which one is called as oak toad, that is called as your bufo. Bufo is the name of the toad. Bufo, B-U-F-O. That is the generic name of the what? The toad. Bufo. But in our state, you find one type of bufo that is called as Bufo melanostrictus. But here, in case of your foreign country, like the North America as well as in Britain, you find there one type of species which one is called your what? Oak toad, that is called as Bufo curicus, or that is also curicus. Curicus. Okay, and Q-U-E-R Q-U. Okay, Q-U. Q. Curicus. Curie. What? Q-U-E-R-I. E-R-I. Curie. Okay. And Curicus, C-U-S, or also be sometimes it is remembered as your Curosi. Curosi. Some author also be explained this species Curosi, Q-U-E-R-C-I, Curosicus, C-U-S. Okay, that is called as the name of the oak toad, but that one is the female one. Female, your Curosicus, and this species is relatively large in size, and that is 1 by 1/4 inches in length. The size is 1 pillar by 1 by 4 inches in there. Okay, and this is the size of the what? Your Bufo curicus. Okay, and that will be expressed in the inches in the length. With small adult male of the Gulf Coast toad, which one is called as Bufo your valsipes. That is called as Bufo valsipes. That is called as Bufo valsipes. Okay, the Bufo valsipes, spelling B-A-L-L-I-C-E-P, but S. C-E-P-S, valsipes. You see, this species is the valsipes. Okay, and that is what is the length of it? That is the 2 fill of 1 by 4. 2 fill of 1 by 4. What? The inches. Okay, in the length. Okay, but the male one is a little bit smaller. Okay, and this type of differences you find in between your male Gulf coast toad and female oak toad. But they will not be interbreeding there, and that is the depending upon the size. The size are different in there, and due to different sizes, they can be prevent the process of the hybridations in there. Okay, this is the description of the mechanical isolation. This is the description on the mechanical isolation. Let us know about the physiological isolation, and in some species the physiological differences leads to the isolation. In some species of Drosophila, mating among the members of the different species is not possible, since the mucous membrane of their vaginal swells after the copulation and persist for few hours of the mating, and due to these physiological changes and the fertilized eggs perish within the parent body and are not laid down. Okay, and in these respects you can differentiate the species that is called as pre-mating isolating mechanisms, or also be called as external reproductive isolations. Okay, and this is the description. And secondly, I shall explain you about the internal reproductive isolation, which one is called as post-mating isolating mechanisms. Post-mating isolating mechanism, otherwise called as internal reproductive isolation, and that will be discussed in the coming class. Thank you all.